Welcome back to Good Job Mom. People say if you're overweight, like you're not fit at all. So just stop lying to yourself. I think that if you are overweight and you're fueling your body with the right foods and you are working out, obviously maybe you're not performing like an athlete, but if you're going hard, you are fit. How can we be real with ourselves? Like just because we go to the gym and do, 30 minutes on a treadmill, or we do weight, are we being honest that we're fit?
So overweight versus thin, right? So overweight, that's like we're not even measuring the right thing. Thin has to do with size, body mass. I could show you a thin person that can bench 135 pounds and a thin person that couldn't even chest press 5-pound dumbbells. Overweight versus thin, you're making the mistake that just because somebody weighs more that they're somehow unhealthy. One is a different measure than the other. And then to add in fitness, right? Fitness is basically your ability. What is your ability? Overweight, thin, and fit, those are 3 different categories right there. And I think that's the problem, is we start throwing in all of this terminology, and not to mention, the fitness revolution on Instagram, where everybody who's getting a couple of, surgeries, is on there. And I'm not knocking that. Listen, if I had the money, I probably would do it. But you and I as the consumer on these platforms have got to stop giving in to this lie that what they're doing is what an everyday woman that has 2 kids, 3 kids, right? A husband is doing. Where are we and where we should go? How do you feel? How do you feel? Because there's one thing that your body is not going to do, and that's lie to you. Ignore the signs and go on your way. But that doesn't mean that you're not feeling what you're feeling. My thing, when someone's like, okay, well, how do I know if I'm healthy or unhealthy? Pay attention. Your body will tell you.
Wow, that's so true. When I CrossFit, like I felt super healthy. I kept up with the super strong slim girls. Like I kept up with them, or I'd be like maybe like a minute or 2 behind them, right? But like not terrible.
Yeah.
But that's really good. Your body won't lie to you. I just want to tell all these people out here, like your body's not going to lie to you. You don't need to think that you're completely out of shape unless your body is telling you, and you'll be able to tell. Your body will be able. Listen, I used to weigh 337 pounds years ago, and I could not stand for a long time. I could not. I mean, I dreaded having to walk. I dreaded, a lot. I mean, it was awful. And then I lost weight, and then I started, and I started with Zumba first, actually. That was like my way.
It was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun, and it was great for as large as I was too. Like I could still move, and I don't think that I would have been capable at all of doing any type of high intensity training, but Zumba was still like high intensity, but like easier on the joints. And so there was just a huge difference once I dropped some weight. I was doing those workouts. So then I started doing CrossFit and just my body. And now when I'm like barely working out to like, if I'm keeping it real, like not working out, but I have to keep it real though. I feel like it's terrible, not because of the way I look and yes, of course I have some things I'm working through. Yes. The way I looks a lot different than when I did those workouts, but the way I feel is a lot different than when I did those workouts. Girl, what is self-love to you?
Self-love. This is such a hard one for me. What brings you joy, promotes peace in your heart and in your mind. Self-love for me is buying myself flowers. It's going and buying myself lunch and having a drink by myself. It's time alone, which is me and Jesus. Like those are self-love. And so it's different for everyone, but I always have those filters. Like, is this going to bring me joy, peace? am I feeling refreshed? I think that as you know, all of us, you know, men, women, because self-love is important for guys too. It's just to think through those things. I've just noticed a lot of self-hate. I don't want to say hate, but things like, oh my gosh, I'm so fat. I hate myself. Oh my gosh, my stomach, why is it so fat today? Things like that. I was talking to everyone in boot camp yesterday, and what I made them do before we did anything, because the day before I heard a lot of self-hate. Yeah, girl, but look at your shoulders. But look at your butt. I wish my butt was like that. And I think that it's well-intentioned, but it's so damaging. If we stop that, then we would all learn how to love ourselves a little better. What I did was I made my whole boot camp class write 10 things that they love about their body, not their heart, not their kindness, not how they treat other people. This is purely how you love your body, what you love about it. Things like what it allows you to do, what it looks like, what it feel like. It was so hard for them to do that. And I said, okay, this is a problem.
Whew, I'm thinking in my head, like, what are 10 things I like about my body? I don't know.
Them high cheekbones. so many things. You look great in literally every single picture that you post / take.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously. But but these are things that, like, I don't know why we are like, oh no, what if people think that I'm feeling myself? Good for you.
Right. No, it's true. It's true. You know, it's the comparison thing.
Yes.
If you're feeling yourself, then someone is comparing themselves. Well, I'm not feeling myself like that, so you shouldn't feel yourself like that. Even if you're complaining about yourself, they're like, oh, well, I don't feel that way about myself, so I'm one up. I feel good because I don't come down on myself like that. And then like the social media thing too, where you can just scroll and see so many people that look like they're put together and look that they have this great body or this great life, and you start comparing. Or someone who you think looks worse than you, and you start comparing to make yourself feel better. So it like goes both ways. Like, why can't we all just win in our own way?
There's enough space for everybody to win in that way.
Someone I know whose scale broke, and they decided like they're not buying a new one because they think that it's been more, I guess, but had a negative impact on them and their daughters to have the scale in the house than a positive. So what's your thought on that?
The scale has been, good, but it's only good if my mind is good. And loving yourself is an everyday thing. This is not just a one and done, I love you, girl, in the mirror, and that's it. Body transformation versus weight is they're not always going to match. As I'm getting healthier, and let's not even talk about transformation. Let's talk about things like health. How much you're weighing on a scale isn't in direct correlation to how healthy you are. You might be eating, all of your greens and whole grains and fruits and nuts and good protein sources and not budging on the scale, but mentally you feel better. You're more alert, you're awake, versus me who can get on that scale. I can see some pounds drop, but it's because I tortured myself yesterday and I skipped 2 out of my 3 meals and had half a gallon of water versus my usual 1 gallon. And I woke up 5 pounds lighter.
You made a good point. Like, if you're having a really bad day and then you get on the scale and it doesn't read what you think it should, it can be tragic. Or you could be having a good day and you're like, you know what? Like, I'm on top of the world. Let me go ahead and weigh myself. And then it doesn't say what you want it to say. And that could totally bring it to a tragic moment. Someone who has been dieting forever, like, what can you tell them? And, they keep falling off and getting back on. Is there something that they can do so that they feel good while they're trying to get healthy?
Here's the thing, I'm not a healthcare professional. I hate every single diet that there is. This is my 100% raw and real feeling about diets. Unless a doctor puts you on one, don't get on one.
What do you tell people to do then instead?
I feel like a diet is such a lazy blanket term, and the real issues here are things like obesity, which is clinical, right? So obesity is clinical. Cholesterol and heart disease, those are clinical, right? They're clinical, they're chronic, they can kill you. Well, we're gonna go on a diet or whatever. And it's like, okay, what do you hope to achieve? A person has to get to the point where they're like, it's not even about how I look. Yeah, that's like how you look should be a side effect of how you feel. And it's super simple. Hey man, cut out all the sodas. Cut out sodas and juices out of your life. I think that just knowing where someone is at, and there's like a checklist. I know portion control sounds super cliche, but nothing is more cliche than I'm on a diet. Again, listening to your body.
I'm totally into, especially if you're like new on a health journey, like counting some calories, because then you get to see how much food you're really getting for like the nutritional value of it. So,
right.
You know, are you going to have a banana that's about like 90 calories, or are you going to have like a bag of Doritos that's 130? And you'll definitely see when you eat one or the other that a banana is going to hold you over a little bit longer. It's maybe not as exciting as Doritos, but it's a little less than a bag of Doritos, and it holds you over longer, and you know, you feel satisfied longer. So I think the counting calories can be great to see where you're at and how to shift those kind of foods for sure. I'm a big fan of intuitive eating. Cutting out the sugar and the sodas and the juices 100%. I also think like if you're craving some sugar, like you need to give your body a little bit of it, but like what are some healthy options of giving your body? Or maybe it's just a day where you need to have a Coke. And so I'm going to have Coca-Cola.
Absolutely.
And that's not going to derail my whole rest of my day.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to think that I'm a terrible person.
Nope. You're going to have your soda. You'll have your donut. Obviously, you know by now, I've said donut like 8 times. Donuts are my thing. Donuts are my thing. Again, being honest, taking responsibility and saying, all right, now, I don't expect you to eat 2 or 3 of those, you know, drumstick ice cream cones. I'm not going to eat 2 or 3 of them in a day.
Right.
I'll have one a day. Shoot, you have one a day. Okay, that's good enough.
Or, you know, like when we're looking in the mirror at ourselves too, that's good enough.
It's good enough. Yes. So good.
Last question. How can we take steps to self-acceptance?
Self-acceptance.
Maybe it's just knowing that you're good enough.
It's deciding. It really is a decision we have to make to say, you know what? I'm good. I'm beautiful. I'm cared for. I'm loved. This is my thing. If God made me like this, why am I? And this isn't necessarily for body image. This is for who I am as a person.
Yeah.
My strengths, my weaknesses, my weirdness. Like this is who God made me. It's recognizing your value. That's what it is. Self-acceptance starts with recognizing your value. I think that we don't accept ourselves when we don't see the value in who we are, what we offer to our families, to our friends, to our communities.
That's so good. How are we bringing value into people's lives? I can almost guarantee that it's not with the way we look.
Man, that is so true. And I was trying to figure out like, okay, what is it about our body image that really just weighs on us so like it just weighs so heavy? And I think it's okay, well maybe because I don't accept myself, they won't accept me. because I'm not the baddest chick in the group, somehow that means that I won't mean as much to everybody else. Because I don't value myself, they won't value me.
It's almost like saying the only thing I think that I can bring to someone's life is how I look.
Yeah, such a lie, right?
It's such a lie.
I think that's when I really started to accept myself, my stomach, my arm fat or my back fat. Well, all the things that I saw about myself that I just thought were that I thought were so gross and such negatives about me. I realized that that's not the part of me that brings value to people's lives. That out of the way, it was me not accepting who I am, not valuing who I am as a person,
Right.
that caused me to look at myself and say, okay, this is the visual image of who I know I am inside. So if I can't accept her, what makes you think I can accept you in the mirror, looking back at me?
Do you have anything that you want to send Good Job Mom viewers off with?
And I want everyone on Good Job Mom to know that, girl, you are doing a good job. I need y'all to love yourselves. I need you to accept yourselves. I need you to know that you are valued way beyond what you look.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so happy that we got to do this together. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Self-acceptance and body positivity is basically how much you value yourself. It is crazy that we think that we are only valuable because of the way that we look. We are so much more. I want to shout out as mamas because sometimes we're really, really hard on ourselves about what our body looks like after we've given birth. And hello, your body has done something so amazing. It literally grew a whole human being or more, depending on how many kids you've had, and it birthed a whole human being. Like, that is amazing. And so we need to take some time to be grateful for what our body can do instead of focusing on what it can't do. We need to focus more on how we feel and less of how we look. I have some steps to being body positive. Follow some real representations of what bodies look like. Get rid of the diets. Get rid of telling yourself no because you think it's bad to eat, and intuitively eat. But throw away the diet and learn to listen to what your body needs. Your body is not going to lie to you. Also, another step is measure how you feel and not how you look, and not what a number on the scale says. And lastly, and I think I mentioned this already, but praise your body for what it's done and not what it can't do or not what it doesn't look like. You are doing a good job. Thank you so much for joining me. I've had a great time chatting with Mimi. Shout out to my girl. Make sure that you follow her on Instagram. Her Instagram handle is Mom Has Muscle. And I will see you guys next week.